Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Winklerverse. I am Bart Winkler. Grant Bills is here. Paul Immig is here. What a treat to be with all of you guys. And if you would survey some of the other sports radio brethren or podcast aficionados, we shouldn't even be coming to you today. And we really should be taking off until possibly September because this is the dead time of the year.
No.
And there is nothing to talk about. And
Who said that?
Everybody in sports radio. It's the dead time. Articles are being written about it. You know, I used to think that football is inherently an easier time to produce a show.
Oh yeah.
Because there is a flow to the week. There is the reaction. There is the buildup. You get a Thursday game to talk about. You know, there's press conferences. You can do your power rankings.
Yep.
You know, you can get your weekly guests. You can get your eye on the enemy.
Your picks.
You can do it all. It's a routine for 4 months.
That's so good.
So it's not that football is easier. It's just that it's more structured.
Yeah.
It's more structured. You get into this time of the year and football's taken away from you, but it's not. Like everybody's talking at the combine. There's storylines galore, whatever you want to talk about. You're going to get the free agency period. You're going to get the draft. There's a little bit of a slow time between March and April, but that's where the NBA and NHL and baseball picks up. It's what I've realized. And I'm not like super into college basketball. I didn't even mention that. I don't even pretend to know anything about the NHL. But just knowing, like not like being able to talk about, but knowing NBA gives you a huge lift because there's so many people in sports radio that I've realized that it's football or nothing. They don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And their brains can't compute anything else. And it's not even like football. It's pro football. They can't even touch college. So it's not that this is a slow time. It's just that people are they only know football. And so that's why so many people are bitching and crying. And that's why I've started to take this same sentiment to my Nationals show. I've started to say it's not a slow time. But my big thing I like to do now is people are lying to you. People in the media are lying to you. And I told them last night, I told the audience, year one, I was still like feeling out things.
This is the part of the show I heard, by the way.
I go, year two, you're getting me now. Okay. I'm here. There was some guy I screamed off the air.
Last night?
Oh, yeah. Because sometimes callers will call in and they're like, you know, you like walk in a room. I said the phrase I used was, I brought a sponge to a knife fight. Like this guy wants to fight me. And I'm just like, I'm just here to clean the windows, man. And he's all yelling about Dak Prescott compared to, because I was talking about the Cowboys, this selectively aggressive. Everybody had a whole story about that. Oh, you know who else is selectively aggressive? Every fucking buddy. I mean, that's how you attack free agency. And so I was not talking about the Cowboys to talk about the Cowboys, but to talk about people who are talking about the Cowboys wrong. And then a guy called in to be mad at me for talking about the Cowboys. And then, yeah, I said, I'm not trying to be your friend anymore. So
are you telling people how to fan?
I'm not telling people how to fan. I'm telling people how to listen.
Sure.
They can fan on their own, but they can listen to whoever they want. They just need to realize that people are exploiting them and taking advantage of them. And I alone can save it.
You can.
I like that sentiment.
Do you like being able to like disparage the media or the national media while in fact being a member of said group?
Yes.
Is that a tricky dance?
Yes, I try to do the thing where like a super rich person is like, I know how hard it is to grow the grocery store. That's why I have my assistant do it, and I never know what the bill is. It's a banana, Michael.
There it is.
Yep.
What can it
Hold on.
cost?
Go see a Star Wars.
So that's where I'm at. How are you guys?
Good. I think, yeah, I like what you said about like the NBA. First off, like, do you guys see that? I gotta ask this
I'm good.
about the NBA last night, where there was a fun, like, major storyline game. You guys have both seen the picture of Luka and Nico.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing should win awards. It will probably.
I watched that game last night, but I did not watch the Bucks game.
Did you hear Nico's or Luka's quote? They asked him if he saw Nico in warmups, and he goes, I did not see him in warmups. And they go, did you see him during the game? And he just like didn't answer and waited for the next question.
You play that audio on the show?
Yeah, we played that on the show. I couldn't air the picture on the show. That I found challenging. But people should look it up. Yeah, I didn't really watch the Bucks game either. I kind of had it on the little TV, or I had it by that. What I mean by little TV in the studio is the computer that I use, so it's the browsers underneath. But then I turned to it, and Dame was at the line, missed a shot, and then I turned, and then next thing it's a jump ball. What the hell happened? I still don't even really know what happened.
Yeah, I didn't see last night. I've been on a roll of Bucks games, but I did miss last night's actually.
I completely missed it. Watched second half of the Badger game, and then watched the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter of Lakers Mavs, and it really pissed me off because I got ready for bed. I entered the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet waiting for the shower to warm up, like I do. I'm not getting right in, like it's a whole, So
it is. I've noticed that of recently. Yes.
Of yourself or of me?
Yeah, of me.
Okay. I turn on the game on my DirecTV app on my phone because this is what I do. I sit on the toilet and I find my shower entertainment, and then when I'm ready to get in, I set the phone up on the shelf in the shower and whatever. There were 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and then I get in the shower. I bathe, I brush my teeth, I do all the things. I get out, I dry off, I put my robe on, and there's still like a minute left in the third quarter because there was some stupid challenge, and I don't even know what they ruled. And then there was this delay because LeBron elbowed some guy in the face, and then we had a bunch of footage of JJ Redick on this. It took forever. I was like, I just dedicated 15 minutes to watching this thing. I got nothing from it. I did watch the end in bed. It shook out like it was supposed to shake.
I like that you brought that up because I'll build on that for a second.
The end or what part?
Well, just, yeah, but in the sense of the end of NBA games are horrible.
It was the end of the third quarter. I'm like, if you have someone like me who's like, hey, I got 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I need something to watch while getting ready for bed. I'm gonna throw it on. I got nothing from that. I got 2 delays. I don't even know what they ruled on the channel. Like, it was just a mess. It wasn't even the end.
I would say, by the way, Bart, like, not that you need to be passionate about the things I'm passionate about, but if I had the national platform, I would spend an inordinate amount of time complaining about the end of NBA games. They're terrible.
They're terrible.
Like half of it, like, you'll get a blowout, so then it's not close. But like, if there's a close game, the last couple minutes take 15, 20 minutes. It's a really bad.
Free throws under 2 minutes should be worth 2 points.
You know what? How come they never went back to the Elam?
I just made that up, but I kind of like it.
Why didn't it, like, after that one success? Didn't everyone like the Elam ending in that one All-Star game?
Yeah.
And then, like, they just didn't do it again? What am I missing?
The Elam ending is good. But I think it's too radical to make happen. Like, it is fun, and the All-Star Game is a perfect setting for it, and so is the tournament that they do in the summer that Marquette won that one time.
Mm-hmm.
My boy Travis Diener with the game winner.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's too rad. It's just, that's not how you end a game. You end a game with time. The games need to be timed, except for baseball.
I mean, you're a soccer guy, so I would think you wouldn't have too strong of a take on that, considering the game.
Oh, soccer's a journey. It's 90 minutes. How much time's left? I don't know. Another 8, and then they play another 13.
Yeah. So if they can do it, right? Not that you want to model yourself after soccer, but I don't know what the solution is as much as it's just like, I watch League Pass. I like to bounce around games, and you'll see on like the ticker, right? Because I'm behind, and you'll see like that there's 20 minutes of time left on the DVR for this particular game. It's like, but there's only 80 seconds left on the clock. And it's like, yep, here we go. Like, it's just going to be like this drawn out. I hate it. I hate it.
Get rid of challenges, if only to get
It's
rid
like
of the
too
players
long.
going like this after everything that happens.
Or at least do the thing that the NFL is like, have like the sped up system that they had this past year in the NFL. Like, you don't need the official to go over to the timetable, make the announcement, have this drawn out process where the security has to come onto the court to protect the referees. It just takes too long. For what? I mean,
do you have a baseball related one regarding that?
No,
with the strike zone.
I mean, it's okay.
I want to. I want to share some. I want to talk about that with you specifically.
I would love to.
I'm going to do that in 60 seconds because I'd like to remind you about my friends at Happy Place Hemp. The promo code is Bart. HappyPlaceHemp.com. That is where you get your gummies, your tinctures, your lip balms, etc. You can get it with the CBD. You can get some of those products to help you sleep, to help you focus. You can get some of the stuff with the Delta 8 and Delta 9 to help you sleep and then help you maybe focus a different way. Get all the stuff that you need, happyplacehemp.com. It's in Muskego. You can go there and they'll answer any questions. Like I've always said, if you have questions about some of this stuff, relay it to me. We'll talk to Chris and Rob. They've been on a few times, and we can do that at some point. But happyplacehemp.com, the promo code is BART, 25% off every time at checkout. That's right, every time. Oh, I'm sorry. You've already used it 20 times? Use it a 21st time. Happyplacehemp.com, promo code is BART. Start your browsing today. You know what would be good is some gummies in those Easter eggs, since eggs are $19.99. No promo code on those. So go get those. Open up your egg and there's a little gummy in there. All right, so the strike zone thing, what they're doing in spring training is they are allowing 2 challenges. So, I mean, you would think those should go quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you get it right, you get to keep challenging, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been a human element guy.
Yeah.
I would like to stay that way.
Yeah, disagree.
If you have the technology and you're already implementing it into the stadium, then just use it. Mm-hmm. If you have it and it's already there, like I'm outside saying, don't bring it in. Don't bring it in. I don't want it in. They went in a different entrance, got it in, set it up. Okay, then use it for every pitch. You're finding a new way to add a challenge, which is too much. And then the whole existence of baseball, the whole existence of arguments, the whole existence of people getting thrown out for a millennia is the one thing you can't argue is balls and strikes. And now I can argue balls and strikes by just tapping my head twice.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to undercut what the umpire's doing. So now the umpire is, when it's a review, is he rooting for it to be changed? No, he wants it to be right.
Of course.
So now is he going to start calling it different because he's worried what the machine's going to say?
He should. He should be. I mean, he should be accountable.
No, you either have it fully or you don't. We got to stop adding things into baseball. Like, we're making the game shorter, but we're also, now how many challenges do we have? How many mound visits do we have? How many sunflower seeds can we eat? It's too much. If they want to go fully automated and just tell the ump and then he can go this, whatever, then do it or don't do it. To institute it where it's going to be challengeable, I don't like that.
Yeah, I disagree, obviously, as you probably would expect, but I would prefer what you're saying, like the all-in, the umpire's there to essentially spit out what the machine tells him. That's great. Like, I want it to be accurate, but this is the baby step before you get there. They can test it out. They can see how it's received, how it's implemented. If all of a sudden you had that for every pitch and you went from 0 to 60 overnight, I think that would go very poorly from public perception. So I like the end result of what you're referring to. The ball and the strike needs to be indisputably accurate, in my opinion. Like, it's just too important otherwise. I think the thing that you're going to see is a hitter at the plate is so dialed in to what a ball and a strike is. Like, in the NBA, this is how I'll compare it. In the NBA, guys complain all the time, and most of the time they're wrong. Like, they're just being assholes. They complain about everything, so they lose credibility, in my opinion. Like, I don't actually, if I was the referee, if I'm the viewer at home, sorry, I'm expressive.
No, I'm doing what NBA players do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were like mocking my.
No, I'm doing like, oh no!
Like, how dare you? It's like that was the most obvious call ever. So again, like for me as the fan, you're losing credibility, and I would guess as an official, you'd be losing credibility because you complain all the time. For baseball, they are so dialed into the strike zone that every time you see, I mean, I know every time, okay, the vast majority of the time, right, that you see an MLB hitter make a motion as if like, are you serious? That was obviously not the correct call. They are right 9 out of 10 times. The hitter is. Seriously, this is something
like
I've thought
fuzzy
about.
math to me.
This is something I've heard about for a decade. There. I've not like tracked every pitch, but every time it feels like that I watch a hitter.
It feels like
I would love to have all the data, but like this is why I love watching that MLB
or any data. Forget all of it. Maybe any data.
That is made up data.
So I'll give you my examples though. The ump tracker thing. The day after a game, I like looking at the ump tracker, the online thing.
Yeah.
And then you can go back, you can see like, okay, like this did have a really poor game, or okay, that was his one missed one, but it just meant more to me. The ball and the strike is it's baseball. Like that is the entirety of the game. If you're the hitter and you don't know the ball and the strike, you can't play it. If you're an umpire and you're inserting your own biases or your own positioning or the way that a catcher like lied to you, like I appreciate framing. I get it. But they're lying. Part of the game. They're manipulating the truth. They're lying, and you're buying into it. Just like an NBA official, when a guy gets like, "Oh, that really hurt," and then the ref blows the whistle because they're fucking stupid. Was it a foul or was it not a foul? Don't call a foul because the guy said, come on, that was my shoulder." Like, don't buy into the BS. I would much prefer this system where, and by the way, if a hitter, like what I'll be curious to track is the hitters who have like a 95% turnover, like a overturned call rate. Like they always are right. Like I want to know that like Sal Frelick, when he challenges a call, he's right 19 out of 20 times, for example. That'll be really interesting because I think if you're like plate discipline,
it's another thing.
Oh, I love it. But it's a data game. I think it's a game of data. So Grant, you can strongly oppose all of this, but you can't play baseball with an inconsistent strike zone. You can't, I mean, Bart, I know you've compared it to like, well, it's a windy day or it's colder or it's this, like, that's not the same thing.
I did.
I've heard you talk about okay.
The
elements should be part of the game.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just don't think the umpire part of that should be part of the equation. Grant, rebuff all of that.
Not all of it. You make some good points. You are so interested in this element of the game. It's just an element that I would prefer to never think about. There's a bajillion statistics in baseball already. Baseball Savant, Fangraphs, Pro Baseball Reference. You can go nuts for days. You can get lost in there for days. I don't also need like what's Sal Frelick's like challenge over expected.
There's so many stats, Grant, that in the past you used to look at everybody's stats on the back of the baseball card. Now future baseball cards, they're going to be back and front. It's just going to be a card of stats and a little tiny picture at the top.
Exactly.
Thumbnail.
That's the way we're headed.
They're going to look like checklist cards.
So, Paul, you were a father, I believe, as is Bart.
Did you say were?
What was that?
Did you say were? Paul, you were a father.
No, you are a father, Paul.
Okay, yeah.
Well, but I'm not a real one. I'm only a boy dad.
You're not a girl dad. I don't know about Paul.
Both.
And I say I think because I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a parent thing. I think there is this element of American culture where it's like we just want to barbecue officials. Like that's actually a big part of the reason why we're watching. It's a big part of the reason we're fired up is to complain about the refs or to talk about the refs or to focus on the refs. I don't care. Like I don't want to think about them. I don't want to see them. I get the Paul strike zone is important. It is my nightmare that we get to a big at bat in the 6th inning. Paul, the Brewers are up 3-2. I don't know why I'm talking like Mike Clemens, but the bases are loaded and there's 2 outs and the count is full. All right. And Nick Mears reaches back and he fires one to bang right on the corner. Big strike 3. Place goes nuts. He escaped. Tap it on his stupid head. And we're like, all right, we're going to wait. And that happens enough. You're not going to get the crowd pops anymore.
Yeah.
The announcer
Thank you, Christ. Thank you.
Is not gonna say he got him looking. He's gonna say some dumb thing like it's called a strike and now we wait. It's like that.
The most popular sport in America does this and I know it doesn't mean it's good, but we've talked about this where it's like it's a touchdown. Let's check for a flag and no flags on the field.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That stinks.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying if the most popular sport in our country can do that,
soccer has been torched. Soccer's been absolutely torched by VAR because they're scoring goals left and right, and then it's always, oh, okay, let's go check. Sometimes they're offside, sometimes they're not. Like VAR, I think we've gone to, I don't know, like replay in baseball was instituted to make sure we knew if it was a home run or not, and if it was fair or foul. I don't like replays at the bags. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like.
It's actually one place I don't really mind them. That's like a toe on the line in football.
I feel like though, if your hand like just bounces off for a second, I feel like you're still safe.
Yeah, that's dumb.
If you're on over the bag, like you're on the bag, doesn't need like. I like the neighborhood play.
Like you're like my pinky was raised up an inch off the ground over the.
There was a moment where it went like this, and the glove was it's stupid because that's not the spirit of the rule. Or in basketball, if I'm holding the ball like this, triple threat position, and a defender reaches in and pops the ball out, and the ball goes out of bounds, that's my ball. But if you break it down with a camera, you would see, even though the defender punches the ball out, the ball touches the tip of my finger on the way. But that's not what the call's supposed to be. That's not what replay is supposed to be for.
So
I just don't like the AB. I don't like the tapping of the helmet. I don't like adding an action. It's the NBA players who are always like this. There could be 10 minutes left in the second quarter. The play could mean nothing, and I got to watch one of these millionaires run up.
Brooke Lopez.
But the difference is, though, these players are doing this, and it doesn't actually do anything. If a player in baseball under this new thing does it, an actual replay is going to happen. It's not just a player petitioning to their coach on the bench. Let me give you this analogy. In the NFL, I think there's a lot of subjectivity in calls. What's a hold? What's a pass interference? I think if you got 20 really good NFL officials together and you showed them 10 close holding plays or 10 close pass interference plays, is it or is it not? I think you'd get pretty close to like some sort of like 60-40 split. Like it's because of the subjectivity. Like one could interpret it as this. Again, a lot of these guys are lawyers. They might interpret it as like, oh, well, actually he did kind of grab here. Like a ball and a strike is not subjective.
It is.
It's not though.
But
it's not.
The box is just floating and there is no box.
There is. Like,
but you can't.
There's not subjectivity to a ball.
Does nobody else ever think of my thought that we all look coming into the strike zone, but the umpire sees it from behind?
Which is a flaw of 100 years ago when, like, where do we put the guy that calls a ball and strike? I don't know, stick him behind the catcher.
Like the catcher is in the fucking way.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That you're proving part of my point. We now, unlike 100 years ago, we now have the ability to not have that be the sole source of truth for a call.
I don't know.
A charge in basketball, subjective. A pass interference in football.
I don't like how you can have subjective calls and definitive calls in sports.
Well, but I mean, the good thing about baseball is if balls and strikes, which are not subjective, are now officiated to not be subjective, and it's just like, was it a ball? Was it a strike? It was, or it wasn't. It's a true or a false statement, not a multiple choice. Well, if you pick apart this part of it, that's great. Like, unfortunately, charges, pass interference, holdings will always have gray. I wish they didn't, but they do.
And so I'd like to have it the way it is, keep it the way it is. And then a little bit under that is just do the ABS full time every pitch. And then having a martini with the devil all the way down there is fucking any sense of replay. Stupid.
The thing I do like, and I hope they keep it for the regular season for baseball, is I love that it's on the board, on the scoreboard, and the scoreboard is pointed towards where? Toward home plate. So the umpire has to be like, You fuck. Like this, I actually
this is another thing. You guys are too emotionally fired up. I've seen people with this take. Oh, and the best part is the umpire's got to stand there and stare at the shitty call he made. It's like I don't care about that. That does nothing for me. I'm here to watch the pitchers pitch and the hitters hit.
Yeah.
But they can't do that.
They mostly can though.
If there's a human behind the plate getting it wrong.
No, not as often as people want to say. There are bad games, but it's a long season.
Grant, here's the problem. Like what you were describing earlier, how can I say this? If you have
let's get off of this.
We can get off if you want. All I would say is
bullied him, Bart.
I don't know.
So okay,
I brought it up. So
let me boil it down with a quick.
Please.
A ball and a strike is a subjective call. Or How? Explain. Say more.
I meant objective.
Okay.
I'll stick with my original. It is an objective call.
So it's a true or false statement.
Sure.
This pitch was a strike.
If the ball is a cock hair off the edge of the zone, it's close enough. Like
yes, and if the pitcher has earned throughout the game the pitch being a cock hair off.
No.
Because he's getting that there's come on.
Mizorowski yesterday got boned on 2 different strike 3 calls after the previous hitter Carlos Santana challenged his strike call and was instantly wrong. Mizorowski gets hosed on 2 strike calls, would have ended the inning, but he was all over the place. The ump's like, "Well, I'm not giving you that. I'm not gonna bail you out." That's a part of the game I very much enjoy.
Grant, let me maybe conclude on this. I think that there are too many people who watch sports to like complain about the refs.
Okay.
What I'm trying to acknowledge is that in basketball and in football, there's almost nothing that's 100% objective. Like this was a foul, this was a hold, this was a pass interference. And again, it's why the NFL is overly litigious, and it's like, how do you describe a catch? Shit, you can't even describe a fucking catch, right? Like,
what is a catch? We still don't know.
But that's a problem, I think, for the NFL and the NBA. But it's also why I don't watch those sports and get fired up over calls. I personally don't. I know what you mean. I think your point is still well taken. People do watch and they're like, I don't really know what happened in the game, but the announcer sucked and the ref sucked, because I can comment on those things. I know what you mean. I'm with you in a general sense. Baseball, I think, is different.
Pointed towards a particular people or person, but I would agree. Those are big talking points for a lot of sports people, yes.
But I think baseball should, I'll say, be different than that because of the things we've discussed. The last thing I'll say, wouldn't it be fun? So someone's controlling the umpire's mic, let's say, right? Someone in the booth, and the call gets challenged. If the umpire turns out to be correct, they should be like DX crotch chopped, like I fucking told you. You're like, that'd be turn on his mic, right? And he should be allowed. The umpire should then like be able to gloat in like his like. Meanwhile, so too should the player. I think that'd be great. Now, you want to talk about human element, like the emotions of it, like that would be fun. That'd be fun. And I'm only like lightly joking that this would be the thing I would do. Turn on the.
You've given me a lot to think about, Paul.
You know what? That's all I really want. All right, I have a couple Bucks topics for you.
Bucks topics.
Oh,
that sounds pretty exciting.
There's 2 of them.
But if we could, I do need to insert here, if I can, just a quick commercial break. Yeah, we'll be right back on Into the Winklerverse. Shit.
Hey, it's Duncan Mike from 1250 WSSP, Milwaukee sports leader.
More IFL Battleground is coming up next. Then at 9, mixed martial arts action is taken to a whole new level on UFC Wired.
It's all happening tonight here on My 24.
And don't forget to listen to us Monday morning from 5 to 9 on 1250 WSSP, Milwaukee sports leader.
Hey, it's Doug and Mike from 1250 WSSP, Milwaukee sports leader.
More NFL Network Total Access is coming up. Then throw down with the best mixed martial arts action on IFL Battleground at 8 and UFC Wired at 9.
It's all happening tonight here on My 24.
And don't forget to listen to us Monday morning from 5 to 9 on 1250 WSSP, Milwaukee sports leader.
All right, and we're back.
Doug was so dialed.
Mike's suit don't really even fit him. Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna give you a commercial break real quick.
Shit.
What?
What are you doing?
No. You're gonna. I sometimes I'll clip something that you say on the national show and then I'll send it to you guys just for fun. I decided to save this one because I thought this was really good and I wanted to get Grant's reaction live. Ready, Grant?
I'm ready.
The Bart Winkler show. This is the 25th.
Why are people so dumb? Well, why are people so dumb? There's some of you that might be that dumb that I'm talking to right now. Why are you so dumb? I don't know if you are. I have no idea who I'm talking to. But I gotta assume that some of you might be dumb. And if you're getting offended about that, then you're probably that. That's probably you.
That's pretty accurate.
Like I said, quick aside.
Quick aside.
I was thinking a quick aside.
A great quick aside. None of us saw the Bucks game on Tuesday night, so maybe this question is still as true now as it was yesterday when I was thinking about it. But a friend of mine described himself as suffering from mild Bucks optimism. I'm going to start saying, so I liked that phrasing, and I said, for me, so I'm going to start, I am suffering from mild Bucks optimism, meaning like you've seen enough since the trade deadline that you're like, hey, maybe, like for real, not like, oh, like a 1% chance, but like a legit maybe. You are suffering from mild Bucks optimism. Or
I'm going to say
Okay.
Because I think that either the Celtics, Cavs, or Thunder are going to win the title.
Cavs, Celtics, or Thunder. Okay.
And I don't think they're going to win the championship. So
The Bucks aren't.
what I'm doing also on the show is I'm conditioning people. And this was a little bit of what I was saying earlier. I said, it's going to be Cavs Thunder. It's going to be a great series. And you're going to be talked out of it. The Cavs fans aren't going to enjoy their run. The Thunder fans aren't going to enjoy their run. They're going to get picked every week. No one's taking the Cavs over Boston.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Cavs Thunder, and you're not going to watch it because you're going to think it's going to be bad basketball, and it's going to be great basketball.
No
So
one thinks
that's been the angle I'm taking.
No one who watches the NBA thinks that would be bad basketball. That would be great basketball. The problem is it would be Cleveland, the city of Cleveland against the city of Oklahoma City.
And then I love how these people that are on these networks, ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick, whoever's going, they're always bitching about where they're going to go because it's too cold.
Yeah.
In the fucking summertime.
Dumb.
I got to go to Cleveland. It's fucking cold today, maybe. Not in June.
Yeah.
I mean, they filmed Superman there last summer, for Christ's sakes.
I'm sorry. I just think, for Christ's sake, it just has so much comedic. It's not even what you're talking about. It's just that phrase specifically.
So for your mild Bucks optimism.
Give me Lord.
So Bart went with He does not have mild Bucks optimism because the Bucks are not one of the three teams he named.
I'm not where I have been every year, where I'm always like, just believe with me, guys. Just you got to believe a little bit.
Grant Bill.
But we haven't seen them play healthy in a playoff since the championship.
Grant suffering from mild Bucks optimism.
Optimistic in that, given the pieces that they have to deal with and given who their coach is, this ain't too bad. Yeah, I think Kuzma can work a little bit. I think they have different issues now with Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. and this collection of players than they had with Middleton. I would rather.
What do you say? They have more what?
They have different issues.
Different issues.
Like they're still not a perfect team, but their issues have changed from, like, I don't know if this guy can play or move, to, well, this guy's a limited 3-point shooter and it presents a lineup challenge here or there. But that's basketball, right? Like, we can work with that. We can talk about that. We can watch night to night for that and try to weed our way through that. The Bobby Portis thing sucks.
Yeah, bad timing.
If only, horrible timing. And if only because, like, he's one of those players that really helps you navigate a stretch of regular season games. He's not one of your stars, but getting through those random Tuesday night games against Houston, like, that's his thing. He's really good at that. So that sucks. But no, I think the negative reaction to the Kuzma trade was because it's like, man, we're in that bad of a spot where we got to trade this guy who we have considered untradeable forever for Kyle Kuzma. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But once you move past that, I think they're fine, and they could be plucky enough to maybe win a first round series, which is considered a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm more optimistic than it sounds like you guys are. I was going to ask you a question, but Bart, you kind of hit on it. This was not my part B. This was like an aside, which was like, you get the Thunder, the Cavs, the Celtics, and I was going to also include the Nuggets in that. Like, you get those four, or you get the field. Is it pretty obvious? It's one of those. Like, you get $1 million. Bart, I always like your way of doing this. You get $1 million if you're right. You get to pick those four teams to win the title, or you get the field. Are you taking the four? The Cavs, Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder?
Well, who else would it be? I was believing in the Knicks for a little bit, but they're 0-7 against anybody that's good.
Yeah,
and they don't look like they have any answers for any of those teams.
No.
It's
not the Wolves.
I think the Warriors are going to be fun and then burn out.
The Warriors and the Lakers should probably be like 5 and 6 on that list to win the title.
I was going to say,
because they've got
Lakers, the first team that scare you in the field.
The Lakers, I think, are going to do what the Lakers have been doing, where they're going to give you some really competitive ass series, and the series they're going to lose in 5.
Interesting.
It's going to be competitive, even with Luka.
LeBron looks awesome.
Well, LeBron is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's awesome. What I say the other night about LeBron, I said, LeBron, I like LeBron.
I do too.
I like LeBron. I think he's the best player ever.
I do too.
But every time he talks, I'm like, God, shut the fuck up.
He really yeah. I think I'm one of those people that thinks he's made the NBA worse. Because
I was like, well, it's good. I've always been a quarterback. It's nice to have a wide receiver. Like, just go play football then, dude.
Yeah.
The guy wanted to be a wide receiver at Ohio State so bad. Why didn't he? Just go.
I'm sure you guys have seen, and it's not like this is not like entirely LeBron's fault, but I'm sure you guys have seen online the videos of like 11-year-old kids playing basketball and baiting calls from the refs, and like this is largely LeBron's fault. Like it's his fault. I blame him.
Can I give you a conspiracy theory that I've only nibbled at, but I haven't been willing to say?
Let's see. I'm very curious.
And this is just a conspiracy theory based on my behavior in my life to how I see other people acting.
This could go so many different directions. Go ahead.
I think Matt Stafford's in some debt trouble.
What is giving you these vibes?
All of a sudden, he needs $50 million a year.
No one needs it. He wants it.
Yeah, but what happens is when you have, sometimes I'll be like Googling online, like how to make money.
Do you really?
Yeah, and I download these apps and I take these surveys and play these games because I just had a bad gambling weekend, and so I have to make up that money. And so I think like sometimes, I don't know. The thing about Stafford that's got me, he had leverage. He signed 4 for 40, 4 for 160. Do you know that same summer, Kyler signed for 46 a year and Burrow, the guy he beat in the Super Bowl, signed for 55 a year? I think Stafford's looking back saying, I fucked up. I think he's chasing money, not trying to earn money. There's something off to me about the whole situation.
That doesn't mean he needs it in the way that you insinuated. Like,
again, I'm just looking at my behavior and seeing it in somebody else.
Yeah.
And wondering. I'm just asking questions.
Just asking.
Well, his wife knows how to spend it too. I bet you dollars to donuts on that one.
Well, yeah, and that's why women shouldn't be allowed to have any purchasing power.
I was going to say, no one reacted to that comment about his wife. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm just the asshole. I'll make the joke and no one else will.
No, you dig the hole and I will jump in. I'm kidding, ladies. I'm kidding.
A Stafford, there's no women listening.
Can I do the norm part of that? And if you're mad about that joke, you should know a woman wrote that joke. Nah, we don't hire women.
Now you don't know what to think.
Now you don't know what to think.
Why is it? Why aren't we pumping Stafford to Minnesota more? Bart, you're
It
a
should be.
national.
That's the only place that makes sense.
They could win a Super Bowl with him
Not
this
the
year.
only place.
Nowhere. What? I keep getting these calls about like, oh, Stafford should go to the Raiders or the Giants or the Titans, and Rodgers should go here. Why would any of them want to do that? Why would the team do that? Where's the like who? Why are you giving up stuff to win 7 games?
Stafford plays in LA, inside, beautiful weather, for the best coach in football, I believe. Why would he want? Why?
And Minnesota's so, but then if you're Minnesota, you have, let's say, Darnold at 40. Is the gap between Darnold at 40 and then the other side is Stafford at 50 plus giving away assets? Is that gap big enough that you're going to win the Super Bowl?
I think it could be. What are the assets? What
From a
kind of
team who
picks
hasn't been
do
to
you
a
think?
championship game since, who was that? Case Keenum?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know that they have. I think they have a 2nd round pick. I mean, their 1st round pick is in the teens or no, in the 20s.
Who?
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
You're telling me if the Rams were like, just give us your 1st round pick. That's all we want. You don't think the Vikings should do that?
Oh my God. All Minnesota has is a 1st rounder and 2 5ths.
Grant, you would give, if you're Minnesota, you would give a 1st round pick for Stafford while having to give him a contract boost?
Because then you have to give him a contract. Yeah, that's the other thing.
I know that I'm a Packers fan and owner. I'm just a little bit unorthodox and outside the box because I'm someone who thinks when you could win a Super Bowl, you should fucking try to do it. You should try. And Goody's kind of pissed me off this week at the Combine because he's all puffing his chest out at his end of season presser. All right, it's time to compete for championships, blah, blah, blah. They asked him about his process this week. He's like, our processing isn't going to change. He's pissed. He's like, why are you asking me about the Eagles? Last year was about the Niners. Who's it going to be next? I don't know, Brian. You tell me. I'm sure you'll find a way for it to be the Commanders or whoever next year. Like, that's the point, though, is it's always someone else. Like, at some point, don't the Vikings, like, they got a nice team. They got a great coach, good coordinators, a lot of talent. Like Stafford with those 2 receivers. Yeah, they should. I would do that. 100%.
I would sign Darnold and trade McCarthy is what I would do.
Darnold just dumped his diaper in the 2 biggest games of their season.
Yep, he did. And that's not a learning moment. He's just garbage.
No, I'm not saying he's garbage. That's so mean.
He's not. Now you just don't want him. Like he took a team that no one thought would make the play. Almost no one. Like what was the?
Yeah, because of him. No one thought they'd make it because of him. No one was like, "Oh, the team blows." Everyone's like, "Darnold's a bum."
They didn't even think he'd be the starter, and then he took him to 14 wins.
Mm-hmm. Look, it's brutal. I'm not saying it's fair. Yeah, he had 2 awful games in their 2 biggest games of the year. It's not just his fault. I think it's coaching and players around him. But yeah, if the Vikings could give up, you're telling me just our 1st round pick this year for Matthew Stafford.
That's
straight up.
No, that's crazy.
I don't think that's crazy at all.
But then you
Now,
have to
if it was a Packers 1st round pick. By the way, what Grant, you've especially probably to talk about this. What did you make of Gutekunst's Lucas Van Ness comments?
I mean, he better feel that way. He drafted him in the top 15.
But like that was pretty bullish. Like,
well, again, they drafted him in the top. I should hope he's
what
bullish.
do you say about Van Ness?
Vannis?
Vannis.
He's basically just like, we expect big things. You know, he does things the right way. You couldn't ask for more from a player. Work ethic and, all that.
He's like a lot of comments about, how he's always in the gym. He's always working so hard, great work ethic. And then, I mean, it was a very strong statement in favor. And again, you're right, Grant. Like, you don't want to toss the guy under the bus. You don't want to be like, yeah, it's kind of been a disappointing 2 years, but I still believe in it. You don't want to say that. But this was like a full vote of confidence.
I'm at the point with Jair where if we trade him, I don't think I'll have any reaction.
I won't either.
I will be. I'm neutral if he's here and neutral if he's not.
No, I take that back. My reaction will be, okay, good. Like I won't be like, yeah, because
nobody's trading for that contract. They're gonna have to cut him.
No.
I mean, he only plays half the time.
Grant, you're expecting him to like not get like he's gonna have to be cut?
I think so. Maybe look at a 7th.
No.
What do you?
Are you hearing? Is this your opinion, or are you hearing something?
This is my opinion, but I also believe my opinion to be correct. You just walk with me here. Sure. You think a 1st round pick for Matthew Stafford on a team that could win a Super Bowl is dumb? What would you give up for Jair Alexander?
So let's be clear. I think Stafford for 1st is dumb because they have McCarthy and because they have Darnold or could
never
have
played it. Never played in an NFL game, and the other guy sucked in the biggest games of the year.
I get it, but I'm saying that's why I wouldn't give up the first for Stafford, because even if the upgrade
Stafford's in debt trouble and he's got people hounding him to break his legs.
we've moved from that being like a theory of yours to like now it's just I think because of the Jair contract and because once you trade for him you can get it. I think, Grant, usually what this comes down to, as I analyze it typically with a trade, is if you want to, like, let's say you don't really value Jair as a third round pick, like, or giving up a third for him, make up whatever team you want, right? You're the Browns, you don't really want, hold on, but like you don't really think he's worth a third. But if he goes into free agency, if the Packers cut him, I have to just bid on him with 29 other, let's 7 other teams who might be interested in a corner that could get healthy. So I think a lot of time in the NFL, trades happen for guys that don't have a lot of value because teams want the sole exclusive negotiating right. Do you know what I mean?
Right now, has 2 years, $37 million remaining. Will he garner that as a free agent?
Well, okay, what's going to happen when he gets traded? They're going to completely give him a new contract. They're going to wipe this one because the NFL is weird like that. They'll wipe this. The point is, are you asking me, is Jair Alexander going to get more than 18 a year on his new deal with whatever new team he's on? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking if the deal that he's currently on, if he's cut loose, will he get a deal that's better than this one? Because I don't think he will. And I know it's complicated. I need you to play more than half of the games on the schedule.
Hey, I'm going to, like I said, Bart said he's going to have no reaction. I initially thought I agreed with that. And then I moved to like, no, I'm going to be pleased when he's no longer part of our problem. But that doesn't mean another team would, but it could work for us because he is so talented.
34 out of 66 games.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And it's why I don't want him on my team. But I do think there are teams that would be like,
Jair Embiid.
Yeah. The combine's going on this week. And I texted someone who I know who works in the league. And I'm like, what do you think? I know people.
Works in the league. Fancy pants.
Let's go.
He works in the league. Worked for multiple spots. I said,
Kyle, turn on the TikTok camera. What do you got?
I know. I was talking to someone who works for the NBA in the NBA the other day.
For the league.
Not for the league. And
I said, what kind of value do you think Jair has? And this person said, well, and this is why I don't bring this up to name drop. I was trying to set up a long joke. What this person in the league told me was that actually, and this is something that people don't think about, is the best ability is actually availability. I'm mad I couldn't keep it straight. I don't know shit in the league. I don't know anyone who works in the league. I'm mad at myself.
I appreciate it. Sorry that we.
Sorry. No, it's my fault. I couldn't keep it together.
And to be clear, the NBA source that Bart was messaging with, it was really just to send him pictures of his kid because it's his brother.
Shut up. People don't know that.
According to a source, my kid's picture is cute.
No, I do not think that anyone will trade for Devontae. I don't think anyone will trade for Jair.
I agree with that. I agree with Devontae.
Devontae plays. Why is that any different?
Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Who are you talking about?
I think it's because to answer your question, Grant, it's because Jair is 28.
Sure.
Are you talking about Devontae Adams?
It's got the knees of a 48-year-old.
Well, but you could also probably convince yourself on the flip side of it that like Jair was just disgruntled against his employer.
Sure.
This is a grass is greener on the other side thing. I would honestly, and I don't wager on things, I would wager a good amount of money that Jair has trade value to the point he will get traded, not released. I would be very confident.
Disgruntled with the Packers. The Packers, historically a really controversial organization. They notoriously treat their players like shit. It's not like they have disgruntled players who go elsewhere and quickly learn how crummy it is somewhere else. So on top of that, he was suspended last year. He never plays. He got suspended. He's expensive. I wouldn't trade for him. This doesn't really matter all that much. I just don't think anyone's picking that up.
The only thing I guess I gotta go. But this 76ers season for me has been wonderful. I'm loving every minute of it.
Oh, yeah.
You see Paul George is pausing his podcast to focus on basketball.
Now that they're 15 below 500. But if these son of a bees end up with like Cooper Flagg out of this season, I'm going to be furious.
They won't.
They're the Bears of the NBA.
They're going to have like the 6th best odds at the number 1 pick.
You think they're the Bears? I was just going to say the Niners, but I like the Bears.
They're closer to the Bears than the Niners. They haven't made
Because the Niners were just in the Super Bowl. It's 6
They're maybe
years.
the Cowboys.
They're Cowboys. Did you
Maybe
say
the Cowboys. Yeah, that's a good one.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Goodbye, Paul.
Good talking to you.
I have to go as well. I have to call.
Yeah, Paul didn't mandate us to keep talking, so I guess
we're off the hook. How about that?
That'll be you know what the thing I hate the least? And I'm gonna do it to you right now just as an example.
Sure.
All right. That's 50 minutes. Grant, anything you want to promote? Where can we find you? 50 minutes in.
I'm on principle, I'm not going to promote anything. You can follow me on Twitter at Wisco Grant. All my shit's there.
That's great. Where can we find you? How about you tell people at the beginning of this fucking episode?
Yeah.
All right. See you, buddy.
Thanks, Bart.